there's love, there is life, there's a hope and a dream. This is the place for you and me. We can go, we can stay, we can hide, we can run away. We can feel and swim in the ocean. We've fallen, life keeps calling. I found love in the strangest places where all is meant to be. Jamming to the sounds of your favorite song. I said good love is all we need. And when you get down, turn it up loud, and soon we'll feel at peace. When the world does you wrong, you listen to that song like the birds, they listen to the trees. There's a fire.
I want to say welcome. Sorry about the delays. We had some production had some legal issues, and so because of that, we are a little bit delayed. But I decided, you know, what I'm going to do. It was a B- effort last night. Frankly, I was burned out, and I decided I'm just going to re-roll everything, keep predictions as is, maybe add in a wave or two. So thus the delay. Anyways, let's get on to the matchups here. I know it is within the league bylaws not to focus on the toilet bowl, but I'm going to go against precedent, and I'm going to actually look at the previews to some extent. I know I'm risking getting fined by the league. Let's get into the actual matchups themselves. In one matchup, we've got Deep Dishing versus Sandman. And Sandman is a man that has not eaten in some time, folks. What happens when Sandman doesn't eat is people get hurt, people go to jail, people die. When I look at that mustache, when I look at that crazy kind of, he's got that, you know, eye of the tiger look in his eye, I'm scared. And he's playing moi. And so when I break down the matchups, what I see is Russell Wilson getting his. I think Dalvin Cook's going to do all right against Miami. Both teams have a lot on the line, but they are at home. Kenny Stills is going to come through. Mike Evans is going to try to do something against Baltimore. And I think Carolina Panthers are going to come up big against New Orleans in an NFC South matchup in which Carolina is going to try to at least let the Saints know this may not be our year, but we'll be back next year in this division. And so I think that's going to be the big X factor as far as Sandman is concerned. And then I think other than that, you know, if you need an entertaining story to tell your kids and you run out of stories, pull up that story from the Bismarck Tribune. You know, get the kids ready for bed, pull out the newspaper, and tell them a classic Sandman story. You probably won't sleep for the next couple of weeks. Over to Deep Dishing. You know, I think Derrick Henry won't do shit this week. Houston Texans may do something at the New York Giants. Calvin Ridley is on a milk box carton. Michael Crabtree probably won't do shit. Marlon Mack, I don't think will do anything against that dynamic duo that the Dallas defense brings to the table. Moving on to Chips versus Ditka. I like Cousins over Dak. I like McCaffrey over David Johnson. David Johnson has been really the bust of the year when you think about it. I think that Michael Thomas is probably going to do a little bit better than Jarvis Landry, although it will be interesting to see what Cleveland does in Denver. Mason Crosby in Chicago. I don't know how you can go with that guy, but Cruddy doesn't probably have anybody on the bench from a kicking standpoint. Waiver wire's closed, so that's a shit show. I think the Rams, and I'm going to say Chris Goodwin does something. Will be interesting to see what happens on that front. You know, real quick, I do want to address, earlier this week, I got a letter from an attorney. I do want to at least acknowledge the letter because the attorney's letter has asked me to do it. And frankly, it states, you know, the Sugli family has been made aware of my recent references to Michael Myers of Saturday Night Live and Austin Powers. Michael Myers is frivolous in his behavior, and my subsequent comparisons are viewed quite seriously by the Suki family. And so, anyways, I don't really know what that means. But to the Suki family, who are part of writing this letter, as far as, your feelings are concerned, I don't know what a love letter means to you, but you know what a love letter means from me? Because that's the only way that you're going to stop me, is if you send me a love letter. Like I would.
Then I drift away.
Don't be a good neighbor to her. I'll send you a love letter. Straight from my heart, fucker! You know what a love letter is? It's a bullet from a fucking gun, fucker! You receive a love letter from me, you're fucked forever!
All right. Well, I'm glad we got that taken care of. Glad everybody's on the same page now. Of course, if you do recognize that movie, you do know this very, very infamous scene. And I'm not even a film buff, but I have to play it, being that I actually brought the.
What kind of beer do you like? Heineken. Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Okay, anyway, so let's get on to the actual business of getting into the Premier League semifinals. To the best two men win. You guys all saw this tail of the tape at the beginning of this episode. Mind Freak versus Sturluson. I'm going to act like I don't actually see what happened last night. I do remember mostly what I did. Anyways, I like Goff over Rivers. I like Ingram over Mixon. I like Barkley big time over Samuels. Samuels? Really? Edelman, Gordon. Such an interesting matchup on multiple levels. Two wide receivers for the same team, for a team that historically has really had Pittsburgh's number. Pittsburgh is in a very weird funk this year, but New England is also in a funk this year. I think that with Pittsburgh, they have a chance to right the ship as far as that tight end dropping that pass, or that actually was a touchdown, but it was ruled not a touchdown. They don't get home field. Pittsburgh has struggled two of the last three weeks. New England comes back into Pittsburgh this week. I think New England is going to need probably an Edelman or a Gordon to rise to the occasion. I'm not sure if I see either one of these guys doing it. I think it's going to be somebody else for New England, if New England can even get over the hump. New England also coming off that Miami debacle at the end of the game. I do think that Josh Gordon is going to be the difference maker in this game for New England. Thielen is definitely going to do it over Woods. Diggs versus Cooper. It'll be interesting to see what Cooper does against that Indy defense. Indy's defense isn't being talked about, but Indy's defense is actually pretty legit. Not much happened really last week with DeAndre Hopkins, who's doing really well this year, as always, against Indy, and that was in Houston. I think that Cooper is going to still have a decent game. Can Kittle have the type of production that he had the week before against Seattle, who is a bad moon rising, if you will, versus Cameron Brate? I don't even know who that is. Will Lutz versus Greg Zuerlein. Who cares? Jacksonville versus Seattle, as well as Keeley versus Leonard. This has just matchup of 176 to 173. I mean, it's fireworks. I mean, you're talking laser show. You know what I mean? Dustin Pedroia style. So with that said, unless one of these guys go to the bench, Brady at Pittsburgh, Goff at home against Philadelphia, he's got to go Goff. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a dandy. I think this is where the game of the week is going to be from a on the field standpoint. The next matchup will be a game of the week from an emotional standpoint, which is now what we get into. We've got Minute Maid versus Egg Rolls. Let's just run down the list here, folks. Deshaun Watson over against Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's playing pretty hot in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay stopped playing a long time ago. I mean, Tampa Bay, they're already just kind of chilling. You know, they're probably trying to make babies. They're ordering new boats. I mean, they're doing anything but playing on the football field, candidly. There's not a pride factor like you're going to see with Carolina against New Orleans this week. Houston in the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium. I do like Houston to run away with it, but I think the Jets are going to play them somewhat tough. Matt Breida versus Kamara. I think Kamara has a good game, but Carolina is going to play tough D. Kerryon Johnson, who I love out of Auburn, he's more fresh just because of the three kind of quadruple. Nobody knows what are they doing in Detroit with that running back scheme. It's confusing. Green Bay's not going to do much against Chicago. Julio Jones, home against Arizona. Yeah, they'll probably do well. It's like Thanksgiving down there in Atlanta right now. We all know kind of what that's like, from a cultural perspective, right? Sutton versus Cooks. That's kind of a toss-up. Ertz, Gronk. I'm probably going to say maybe more Ertz if Nick can Big Dick Nick can get going. That's another big X factor. Bears versus Ravens. Both defenses should do good, but Aaron Rodgers has a lot of pride on the long. He's not turning the ball over at all. And so I think he's more prone to throw the ball away than do a turnover. I don't know if the Bears are going to score as many points. And then I think the big X factor is can Bobby Wagner can at least stay hot. Bobby Wagner stays hot. It looks like Eggs could be going win this once again. And I just don't know, what Eggs is going to do if he gets to this point again. What does he do? Does Shiloh have to maybe take over the franchise for a couple of years? I know he's grooming, the little men in the family. Are they ready to take over? Dan turning over the headset. We're talking like he already lost. He hasn't lost completely yet. But, if he's, Christmas isn't here yet. It's not over. Dan, I just think he may have to be thinking about expanding the headsets in the family. Might be that talk. The rest of the Sukis, they're more concerned about Michael Myers than they are about what's going on in the family. We did get a quote from Suki earlier this week. There was a lot of media attention. Quote, I'm somewhat flattered at all of the media attention that has come out of yet another postseason run for yours truly. While it is a little bit overwhelming as far as all the fans and the letters and the support that I'm getting, first and foremost, I am a family man. And with that said, I'm just going to leave it out on the field, but my family knows who I am, and that's all I got to say. Bubba Gump. Love it. Good stuff.